Guido Martelli will be our new criminal network contact to help us take down all types of scores in the new Red Dead Online Robberies update, and whether they will be small holdups or super high stakes heists, we all have one question here. Who is Guido Martelli? And today we will be talking about the identity of this man, as he may be familiar to a few of you. He is a character from the Red Dead Redemption 2 story mode after all, and I'd like us to dive into his life in the game so we can just find out what kind of man and character he is and what to expect when you meet him in the new Red Dead Online summer update when it does arrive. And since he will be our new contact for this update, we also have to discuss how we get our intel on these robberies to go through with. Are we paying fees as players? Will this be a new role? It's unclear currently how exactly this all will work out, but we should all expect that there will be some type of fee, most likely in gold bars to get started. All that and more today, so let's get into it. If you enjoyed this video at any point, or if you just find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on this video, and if you want to stay up to date and in the loop with everything Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online, consider hitting that subscribe button with your notifications turned on. So let's begin with some background about Mr. Martelli. Guido Martelli was once a henchman of Angelo Bronte, and after Bronte's death in 1899, and at some point before 1907, Guido Martelli became the new crime lord of Saint Denis. He also bribed Benjamin Lambert, which is the police chief of Saint Denis, to ignore the Italian mob's criminal activities, and we will talk about Angelo Bronte and police chief Benjamin Lambert a little bit later on, so keep them in mind as we dive further into Guido Martelli's identity. Now, in the events of Red Dead Redemption 2 story, Guido briefly appears at Mayor Henry Lamo's party and is seen standing next to Angelo Bronte when Dutch and Arthur are meeting with Bronte. He's later mentioned briefly by Charles Smith as being the leader of the city's organized crime ring, with whom he made a deal to throw a boxing match. However, Charles bet on himself and does not throw the match. He defeats his opponent and as a result wins a lot of money for betting on himself to win. Frustrated at being tricked, Martelli's men track down Charles in order to get revenge and their money back, and four of Martelli's men confront Charles and John Marston on the dockside, but are swiftly gunned down by the pair. Charles and John make their escape, where Charles says it's imperative that they do not get caught by the police, as there would be no chance of denying any wrongdoing, and that Martelli would ensure that they wouldn't get out of the interview room, reflecting his high level of control over the Saint Denis Police Department. After this, Martelli is not mentioned ever again. So we can see that despite Guido not having a very prominent role on screen in-game, he is a very influential force in the background, and of course the player does not directly see this, but as Saint Denis evolves and grows, so does the police force, and so does Guido Martelli's criminal organization. But how did Guido go from one of Angelo Bronte's henchmen and rise to become the leader of Saint Denis' organized crime network? In the Clemens Point chapter of Red Dead Redemption 2, Angelo Bronte is first mentioned by Catherine Braithwaite, who revealed under duress that her sons had sold Jack Marston to Bronte after abducting him. And during the Saint Denis chapter in the game, Dutch, Arthur, and John eventually travel to Bronte's mansion in the city of Saint Denis, and once inside, Dutch asks Bronte why he kidnapped Jack, resulting in a short argument between the two. Bronte, however, abruptly stops arguing and exclaims his apparent fondness for how Dutch talks to make the three appear innocent, and Dutch introduces the other two to Bronte. The three ask if Jack can be returned, but Bronte proposes a deal instead. He promises to return Jack to them in exchange for Arthur and John eliminating a group of grave robbers at the nearby cemetery in town. The pair do so and follow through with it, and when they return, it's evident that Bronte kept his promise, as Dutch is found outside the house with Jack at his side. Shortly thereafter, Bronte also invites Dutch to a party at Mayor Henry's residence. The Vanderlyn gang accepts, bringing Arthur, Bill, and Hosea with him. Bronte identifies many of the party's guests and offers his opinion on them in conversation with the four, while dismaying Dutch by making various snide and condescending comments about him. Before the gang members part company with him, Bronte tells them about a trolley station in the city and gives the gang his blessing to rob it. And per Bronte's recommendation, the Vanderlyn gang decides to rob the aforementioned trolley station, taking Arthur and Lenny with him. However, the tip is revealed to have been a setup, as the money stash turns out to be extremely minimal and numerous police ambush the gang and descend upon the scene, with police chief Lambert having been alerted by Bronte, and the trio of outlaws narrowly manage to escape, after which Dutch vows revenge on Bronte for betraying him. In spite of some opposition from Hosea, Dutch subsequently proceeds with his plan to kill Angelo Bronte. Dutch, Arthur, Bill, John, Lenny, and with the help from Thomas, ambush Bronte's residence at night, causing causing a skirmish with the fellow Italian henchman. Now Bronte, who was hiding throughout this, is evidently found inside the house by Arthur and John, and the crime lord attempts to shoot them, but his pistol jams and he throws it at John before frantically attempting to negotiate. Instead, Bronte is knocked out by a punch from John and carried downstairs by Arthur, then into a boat into the swamp. When he regains consciousness, he insults Dutch, who soon flies into rage and repeatedly submerges Bronte's head underwater, eventually drowning him. Now, shortly after that, he tosses Bronte's body overboard to be consumed by an alligator, shocking Arthur and John. So as you can see from the events of RDR2 story mode, it seems as though when Guido found out about Bronte and how he'd been killed, he decided to use this time and take his place, becoming the new leader of the Saint Denis organized crime circle. Now back to Benjamin Lambert, he became the police chief of the Saint Denis Police Department at some point prior to 1898 in the story, and in the events of Red Dead Online, our characters are already involved with him. Lambert can be found sitting at the reception desk of the Saint Denis police station whenever you visit on your own time or return wanted men back to Saint Denis to collect their reward on their head. So we know our characters already know Police Chief Lambert, and Guido has bribed Lambert himself, and our characters seem to be in the middle of all this. It would seem that Lambert is sort of keeping up a facade and theater performance by trying to make it look like he is cleaning the streets of Saint Denis by putting wanted men and other reprobates in jail, while at the same time taking bribes from Guido and his organization, and also tasking us, the player, with going around capturing different wanted men in the state. Now it would appear that Guido Martelli's criminal organization is actually extremely powerful, influential, and through its own bribes to the police force, and soon to be either employing or sharing information with our own characters on different scores to take down, they've created their very own criminal monopoly in the region of the Bayou. So like I said, what we would touch on at the beginning of this video, will this Outlaw DLC entail a new role? Since the police are involved with Guido Martelli in some fashion here, will we see sort of a Harriet and Gus dynamic this time around, but this time it's Outlaws and Lawmen? Only time will tell with that, although I can all but guarantee that there will be a significant fee to obtain Guido's information on potential scores. Stagecoaches, banks, trains, etc. You name it. This won't be free for us as the players. Rockstar monetizes Red Dead Online by selling gold bars, and each new role that gets released has either cost 15 gold bars or 25 gold bars each. And I don't see that type of monetization stopping anytime soon. Roles in this game are how Rockstar has structured the progression of DLC that they've developed as well. So being an outlaw doesn't necessarily need to be a quote-unquote role itself, but the DLC will probably feature its own progression tree with being an outlaw and skill tree like the other 5 roles, and most likely cost gold bars to get involved with and start playing. So if you're a new player, it's best you check out my money and gold grinding guides for 2021 and beyond, which I will link down in the description below so you can get started and you have plenty of funds for when this DLC drops. I'll also have a ton of videos on this update when it does release so you can master the new content right away. But with all that said, I think we're going to be wrapping things up right here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you now have a better grasp on which characters this update may focus on and what the real identity of Guido Martelli is. Some people were curious as to who this man is, and I figured it's best I post a video with the full comprehensive backstory of Guido and his close associates and contacts. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video today, and if you did, hopefully I earned your like on it. And of course, if you are new to my channel and you want to stay up to date with the best Red Dead Online and Rockstar Games content, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single thing. We consistently talk about updates, news, information, tips, tricks, and even leaks, and we'll keep you guys updated here on the channel daily. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you want to follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube, and you're more than welcome to ask me any questions on there. You can follow me at HazardousHDTV, and all of my social media links can be found in the description down below. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next Red Dead Online video. Adios, amigos.